In this video, we're going to talk about the concept of organizational commitment. This is a critical factor in understanding employee loyalty and dedication. We'll briefly discuss the different types of organizational commitment. We'll talk about how employees can be classified based on their level of commitment and performance, and the behaviors that signal potential withdrawal, trouble spot, from the organization. We'll also look at some of the workplace trends that are currently affecting organizational commitment, and I'll provide some insights on how companies can foster a stronger sense of loyalty among employees. First, let's define organizational commitment. Well, it's just like your personal life. When you're committed to someone, you maybe get engaged, you get married, you're committing to that person. Organizational commitment, it's kind of the same thing. This refers to that emotional attachment, that loyalty, that dedication. But this is all about those feelings that an employee has toward their organization. It is a key factor in determining how likely an employee is to stay with the company and how motivated they are to contribute to its success. This is one of those two key factors of why we study organizational behaviors, one of those two outcomes. Those two outcomes are job performance and organizational commitment. So this is a really important topic. When employees are committed to their organization, they're more likely to go above and beyond in their roles, and they want to stay generally with the company over the long term. Now let's talk about the three types of organizational commitment, because we can categorize it into three distinct types. It's either effective, continuance, or normative commitment. Effective commitment is when employees genuinely enjoy being part of the organization. They don't just come to work to collect a paycheck and keep a roof over their heads, but they feel an emotional connection. They feel a sense of community. They feel a sense of belonging. And that in turn motivates them to stay at the job and generally work a little harder. Continuance commitment, on the other hand, this arises when employees stay with an organization because they feel like really there's no better option. This could be due to financial reasons. So you continue working a job you really don't like, but you have bills to pay. It can also be due to a lack of alternative options or personal circumstances that just make it difficult to leave. Normative commitment, that's based on a sense of obligation. So while effective is more that emotional, you actually like it there, continuance is, well, you kind of have to stay, normative is all about the obligation. Employees who have normative commitment feel like they ought to stay with the organization, either because of a sense of loyalty or because they feel indebted to the organization that it has provided to them. Sometimes new college graduates get their first job, they get a lot of great training, but then it comes time to move on and they feel that normative commitment. They feel bad about leaving the company because that company showed them the ropes, provided them all of that on-the-job training when they didn't know really anything. So they have that sense of indebtedness that makes them stay in the organization. Each type of commitment impacts how employees perceive their roles and their willingness to stay with the company. Now let's talk about classifying employees based on organizational commitment. Employees can be classified into four types. If you're a manager and you were to look at all of your employees, you can classify them into one of four types based on their level of organizational commitment and job performance. And remember, those are the two outcomes of organizational behavior. First, we have stars. Stars are awesome because they have high commitment and high performance. They're committed to the job, they're super engaged, but they're also good performers. They're productive employees. These are generally viewed by organizations as their top talent. Citizens, on the other hand, they're super committed. They're loyal to their jobs, they're ride or die, but they might not be the best performers. They're loyal, they contribute positively to the culture, they'll even be helpers and have those good citizenship behaviors going above and beyond, but they're just not high performers. Lone wolves are those employees that are high performers, which is awesome, but they have low commitment. So they're super good at their jobs, but they're really not very loyal to the organization, and they're more likely to leave for a better opportunity. And they'll have more opportunities because, remember, they're high performers. And then finally, the last category, the apathetics. The apathetics are those employees that have both low commitment, so they're not loyal to the job, and low performance, so they're not good at their job. They're disengaged from their work and their organization, and they often do just enough to scrape by and to stay under the radar. Understanding these classifications can help managers tailor their strategies to better support and retain different types of employees. And in some cases, get rid of the ones that we don't want to keep. Now let's talk about recognition of withdrawal behaviors. First, let's talk about what withdrawal means in organizational behavior. Withdrawal refers to a process by which an employee becomes less engaged and eventually they exit the organization. Withdrawal behaviors can be both physical and psychological. Physical withdrawal includes actions like absenteeism, coming to work late, taking really long breaks, skipping out early whenever you can. Psychological withdrawal involves mentally checking out while you're still physically present. So you might physically be there at the job, but your head's not in the game. You're daydreaming, you're excessively socializing, or you're just not putting in the effort that you know you could. Recognizing these behaviors early can help managers intervene and address the underlying issues before they lead to turnover. Finally, let's talk about workplace trends that are affecting organizational commitment. There are quite a few workplace trends that are influencing organizational commitment today. For example, the increasing focus on work-life balance and flexible work arrangements, that's a huge movement right now. And this can either strengthen or weaken commitment depending on how well these are implemented. Nowadays, people are really demanding more flexibility in their jobs. As we become more technologically oriented, our jobs are done more often through technology and on the computer. People are demanding more opportunities for remote work or hybrid work. While the rise of remote work presents lots of opportunities for organizations, it also does come with some challenges. Why? Because employees might feel less connected to their organizations when they're working from home. They're not seeing their coworkers every day. They're not physically in the office facility surrounded by reminders of the company and its culture and its motto and what it stands for. So there are some challenges there as well. Additionally, the growing emphasis on company culture and corporate social responsibility, those things tend to make it more important for organizations to align their values with those of their employees. And that's sometimes hard to do when they're working from home. To foster a sense of commitment among employees, organizations need to focus on creating a positive work environment. They need to also offer opportunities for growth and development to ensure that employees feel valued and supported. Regular communication, recognition, and involvement in decision-making, these are things that can also help strengthen employees' emotional attachment to the organization.